can hear the music. I love it.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Stretch It Out podcast.
Woo-hoo. I did it.
Never gets old.
I low-key dance every time I hear this song.
You got the new mic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not new anymore, but you sound better, which is awesome.
I got Guadalupe, California calling me. I don't know what that is, but okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. So what is up, everyone? We are officially back in Podcastland, and I'm happy to be here.
I know. I'm excited. I'm excited for this one. Well, I'm always excited.
We had to do a lot of prep for this one, more prep than usual.
Yeah. Once again, folks, it was me and my computer needed to do some downloading and updating, so...
No, it really wasn't you, though. It really wasn't. We had a lot of prep to do. We had a lot to talk through on this one before we were able to bring it to prime time.
Yeah. We had a brainstorm. Had to throw some stuff out and see what was sticking. That's all it was.
Yeah. So how's, first off, I hope that y'all are doing well. I hope that you listening right now, I hope that you're doing well. Hope you're having a good week. Hope you're having a good day. If you're not, hopefully we can, in this next hour, help to change that. But Audrey, how has your week been so far?
My week's been pretty good. Unfortunately, when we got back from Mexico, I got some sort of a cold. So don't worry, it's not coronavirus, everybody. I'm getting over it. So I just sound like I have smoked a pack of cigarettes since the age of 7.
It doesn't sound that bad. I think you think it sounds bad. It does not sound that bad.
I feel like it does.
Nope.
I think I already have a bad
Sound
voice.
that bad.
So now that it's like a little bit raspy, I feel like it's even worse. But the other day I woke up and had no voice whatsoever.
Now's a good time to sing. Remember Friends?
What?
Smelly cat.
Oh my gosh,
smelly
Phoebe.
cat.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you were going to start a singing career, just based on what Friends has taught me, now's a good time to try.
That's what you took away from that show. Got it.
Preferably in a coffee shop, a small one in New York.
In New York. Singing about Jingles and Fiji, smelly cat.
Yes. Smelly cat.
No, but other than getting over the cold, I mean, everything's going awesome. Doing good.
And you've been grinding it out at the gym?
Yeah. After this, I'll be at the gym. I went to the gym yesterday, and I set a personal record. I was proud of myself. And then I was telling Nick earlier that every time I cough, my abs are like hurting so bad because of like the ab workout that I did yesterday. So it's a nice reminder every time I do a little cough.
Yeah. Yep, I don't have that problem. I have things that jiggle when I laugh. I have that problem.
I got some workouts for you, Nick. You let me know when you're ready. We could FaceTime and work out. I'm down with that.
Yeah. Yeah, because that would motivate me. I want to see myself while I'm working out. That'd be nice. So this is awesome because we literally just came up with this name.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And that's, what hand sanitizer and haters. I'm thinking that, if nothing else, like someone's going to be searching hand sanitizer, and maybe somehow after they've gone through like page 1000, they'll see the Stretched Out podcast and they'll be like, oh, check it out. Yeah, got some cool stuff.
Wait, they have a hand sanitizer for haters? What?
Yeah, no, it's and haters. My dogs are like making so much noise with their collars. So hand sanitizer and haters, we're going to talk about things like self-love and why we think people hate, how to deal with it. We got some good stuff I think that we're going to talk about, but what I think would be really cool is if Audrey, if you could share a little bit about how we got started on just self-love and like how that even became a thing, and then eventually getting to hand sanitizer and haters.
Absolutely.
You can take it from here. I think you got the rest of this episode.
I'll take
Good
the
job.
mic. Okay, yeah, you can go ahead and take a break, Nick. I got this. Hi, listeners.
Appreciate it.
So it was actually our niece's, what day was her birthday? What's today? Today's Tuesday? Well, her birthday was on the 7th. Little Audrey turned 13 years old. So happy birthday, Audrey.
Happy birthday, Audrey, IE.
Yeah. 13 years ago she was born. 13 years ago I held that little girl in my arms. She was a little peanut. Anywho.
That's right.
So I actually went to one of her birthday dinners on Sunday, and we're talking, and I asked her, I said, hey, is there anything you want me and Uncle Nick to talk about on the podcast? Like, what can help you or your friends out, or anything, like you just want some words of encouragement or some advice? And she said self-love. That's all she really said about it. And so I said, okay. And I said, I like that, because I know that I need to focus on self-love myself quite a bit. And of course, me and her mother started talking. Shout out to our other sister.
Alyssa,
my
baby
older
sis,
sister.
other sis, little sis.
Little, older, middle child. So her and I got to talking, and she was kind of expressing me some stuff that, little Audrey was going through, and whatever it may be, whether you could call it bullying, you could just say, in other words, a hater was kind of using their words to kind of hate on Audrey. And I don't think this was something new that was said to little Audrey. It was something that was said in the past, but it definitely impacted her, because she chooses, to
She's
listen
making decisions based on it. Yeah, absolutely. Which I still do to this day.
Yeah.
And
I do 100% all the time. And I hate it.
And it sucks. Yeah. But that's why we're talking about it, right? Because we want to get better at that.
So, like, as we were discussing, as Nick and I were discussing it, we kind of started diving in deeper to this, and that's kind of how we came up with, like, it. Yes, we want to focus on self-love, but it's actually like a bigger thing. It's more than just self-love. It's about, you have to have your self-love and, filter out those haters. So that's where this story stemmed from.
Like, if the self-love's not there, it's like you're like completely disarming yourself against the haters. Yes. But if the self-love is there, you're completely disarming your haters. Mm-hmm. And so there's nothing they can do anymore. They can't sting you anymore. They can't hurt you anymore, because you've developed your self-love, and you understand, you've prioritized you accordingly and appropriately. And I think that's really why we got to that point where we were talking about, man, it's just, when you think about self-love and like what it takes to have the ability to, like we talked about in self-talk, you have to have that before we can move on to the next thing, whatever that is. But it starts there, right? Like, remember I was saying, like, man, we should, somehow talk about how it's you and then everybody else. And oftentimes we fail to do things, put things in that order, and we put everybody else first. And as a result, we kind of give away some of the power there. I see you checking things off the list there, Audrey. I see it. All right. Is that you telling me like time to move on? No, I just saw that we had 2 self-loves on there. So mine was like self-love. Yeah. So I crossed mine out. You put a lot of O's in yours, and mine says self-love. The more O's, the more love. Yeah. So sorry, my mic just totally fell down like right in front of my face. Let's give an official, I guess, shout out and thanks again to Audrey IE. Yes. Little Audrey. For giving us this, for telling us to talk about self-love, because we all need it. I think we all can improve there. And I think if we didn't bring that up, we wouldn't have started really thinking about, well, what keeps us from developing self-love, or what hurts us there. And that's haters, right? We all have them. I think we all have them. I think that we all are haters, right? I know that I could be a hater sometimes. And that's one of the things we want to talk about, is why people hate. And Audrey, you're a hater.
I'm a hater.
Right? You hate that I have like sick dad jokes. You hate that.
Guys, you should have heard some of the names he was saying. Facilitate hate.
I have awesome dad jokes, and just like,
does that just come naturally when you have a child? It's like instant dad jokes.
I love that commercial that Progressive did. It was Progressive, I think, where they had the dad, you know, how about a round of jalapeno poppers for me and the boys? Did you see that?
I don't watch.
Oh, okay.
I have like Netflix, so I don't have a commercial.
It was a great commercial. I don't think that they still play it now, but it was a great commercial.
Oh my gosh. Now I'll have to go look it up.
But why? Why do we hate? Like let's start with that. Like, why do people hate on other people? And I'm not talking about saying I'm not talking about the things that like bother us about other people. Like, that's, I think it's important we differentiate the two there, because it's so easy for people to just lump so much stuff under hate. I'm talking like actual, like real hate, like you said, that can actually be perceived as bullying. Yeah. Right. Like, that's a form of hate. Right. And I think that's kind of really where we want to go when we talk about why we think people hate. And the best way for me to try to relate, because again, I'm thinking about my niece, right? I'm thinking about her. Golly, I can't believe she's 13. But thinking about her being 13, right? And she's beautiful. I mean, the girl's gorgeous, and it's like I'm trying to think back to when I was in junior high. Yeah. And I had so many things that I was just focused on that had I been able to overcome those things, I'm just like, man, I don't even know like the potential of, you know, what I could have done in those years. I mean, we all feel that way, but I'm saying specifically about, you know, how I felt about myself only because of the things that I was listening to, or the things that I was trying to avoid. Right. Yeah. Embarrassment and all that stuff. And I go back to that place. I didn't like school to begin with. Like, I didn't like it. And it wasn't this, you know, the academics. It was the social part of it. Like, I struggled with that. And you know, I don't think that I had a lot of hate in my heart at the time, but I remember specifically receiving it, being on the receiving end. I don't want to say that I'd never had it. I was never forking it out either, though. Right. Mm-hmm. Because I'm sure that I did some things and said some things that were harmful and hateful, hurtful to other people. But
especially,
I just remember,
especially our sister. You guys always do.
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry, Alyssa. I was so mean to you. I was.
I was an angel to you, Alyssa. I don't know what Nick is talking about.
But I go back to that place, like. And we can all go there. Everyone can go there. Yeah. Like, no matter how old you are listening to this, even if you're not living it now, I mean, you can go back to that. And it was like a battle every day to just try to avoid hate. Right? Yeah. Like, that's, I don't know. Maybe it was really rough for me and not as bad for other people. But for me, it was like, man, like, that's what I have to do today. Like, I have to avoid the hate, because it brought me down. I gave it that much power over me.
I think you had more. You had a like a higher like severity to that, because I do remember, not graphically or anything, but I remember like you struggled going to school, and there was like kids who lived near us who I can't even remember. I think it was like you and Nick Johnson, like they tried to go and like beat you guys up or something. I can't remember, but maybe I'm just making it up.
Oh yeah, I was real little. I think I was in like 3rd grade when I was with a friend of mine. I want to say his name was Greg or Gregory, and he lived by the school, and we were walking back from the school. This is Maple Elementary School off of Maple. Yeah, right. You remember Maple Elementary School?
That's where I dropped out of
there was like, there was like that new housing tract that was next to the school. I mean, it's super old now, but you know what I'm talking about? They all had like the orange Spanish tile roof, right? It was in there, and I'll like never forget it. But like I didn't get beat up, but I did get kind of like tossed around, and then the guy pulled out like a little pocket knife on me, and it freaked the crap out of me.
Really?
But yeah, it was gnarly. They had like the I guess school police or whatever involved. Yeah, it was a little episode that freaked me out a little bit. And I didn't really talk about it much, but yeah, I was like, holy crap, like that kind of scared me. But that was different. That was like, it was just stupid. Like it was a form of hate, but the stuff that I really hated in school, especially like junior high and on, like junior high and high school, was I just cared too much about what everybody else thought about me. And it bothered me that everyone that I talked to, like my friends, were like, I don't care what anybody else thinks about me. And so that made me feel like even more like screwed up, because I'm like, well, I do, like, and I don't know how to fix that.
Yeah. So now you're thinking right? Like, is something wrong with me because you guys don't care, but why do I care?
Yeah. And I really did get the vibe that a lot of my friends didn't care like as much. Yeah. Right. And I look back now and I'm thinking, man, a lot of them were probably did care, and they just did a better job of, hiding it. I just did. I cared. And every day going to school, it started with like just getting ready, like everything had to be perfect for all the wrong reasons. Everything had to be perfect so that I wouldn't have to deal with anybody's hatred. And if I had, like I mentioned, that self-love that we're trying right now to, I guess, in a way, preach to the youth, at least the youth that's within our sphere of influence, if you will, I think that I would have been a lot less, I just wouldn't have cared as much. I would have just, there wouldn't have been much regard for it at all from me. And I just think about like how I would have lived my life. Right. But I feel like that when I look at a lot of the youth, like it's just crazy, I don't feel as weird now, but back then I just felt like, man, I just care too much about what other people think about me. And it made the hatred, even when it didn't even exist, it just made it scary.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let my dog out of my room. So give me 1 second.
Oh, you guys don't want to listen to Purdy? I mean, I think for me, as a girl too, looking back at that age range, because you have to remember, we didn't have cell phones or anything like that. Like social media wasn't a big presence.
I had a pager.
You and Alyssa had pagers. I never had one. I missed that little era right there. Thank God.
Yeah, super nerdy too.
But as a woman looking at that, like we had like the magazines, I remember Alyssa used to like cut magazines out and put them up on the wall because her and I shared a room and everything. And so I remember like just going to school and seeing how the girls would decorate their folders, and you're looking at movie stars, like unrealistic people. I always say they're unrealistic, but
they're real people too, Audrey.
They're real people with lots of money who can get any kind of surgery done. That's not me. But like I never cared a lot about my weight or anything like that. I think the first time I actually cared about my weight where somebody said like I had a belly was actually like a family member of ours, where I was like, oh God, like thanks for pointing that out, because now that's all I look at. Like as you're getting dressed in the mirror, or like me and Dad were going to the beach, it's like now I'm just like focused on that, where I was like, well, hold on, before we go to the beach, let me do like 50 crunches really fast.
Oh gosh.
Like it got into my head like that, and everybody sees themselves.
I'm so glad you said that though, because that makes me feel, and I shouldn't be saying this because that's mean, but I am glad you said that because that makes me feel a little bit better. Sorry, continue.
What, that somebody said I had a belly?
No, not that part. I'm just glad that you're sharing the fact that it bothered you. Like, cause I'm that way, you know?
I'm 100%. Like, and this is like, cause I know there's like girls who are out there who are thin, right? Everybody is in different shapes and sizes, everything, right? And I'm sure girls who are like a little bit bigger and they hear like a skinny girl say like, "Oh my God, I'm so fat." And they're like, I'm pretty sure they want to strangle the skinny girl. But I can honestly say, like, looking in the mirror today, like every morning I look in the mirror and I look at my at my belly. And but I mean, I'm trying to do something about it. That's the difference, right? Like, I'm not saying, "Oh my God, I'm so fat," and then go eat like 18 tacos. I'm trying to do something about it. But being a young girl and having somebody say that to me, and it was like in the 8th grade. So what? I was probably about, I think 13, 8th grade, 13 or 14 maybe. And we went to our 8th grade school dance, and I had a black dress on. It was like a little spaghetti strap. And I remember, I got dressed, I put my shoes on, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and there's my belly. So the entire night, I think I tried to suck it in, which was so stupid looking back at this. Because you're going to a school dance. Like, the lights are dark. Nobody can see you. And I think,
yeah, but in your mind, you put it on that
yes,
stage. Yeah.
exactly. Like, my mind was overcome with, like, my mind overcame what the actual reality was. So I think that entire night, I was, like, holding my breath as much as I could, which was not fun, especially when I got to dance with Jonathan, which was, like, a big crush of mine. And, like, as we were slow dancing, I was like, "Oh my God, don't let your gut out." Like,
Oh my
like,
gosh, that's so sad.
I did that for like 2 hours. That's what it was. So when I got home, I was just like, "Oh, thank God I can breathe in my room."
That is sad.
But I guess like what I'm trying to say is we create this image. Like when somebody tells us something and it affects us, it impacts us, then we create this whole facade, like a curtain, that now every time I look at myself in the mirror, I think like, "Oh my God, everyone's looking at my belly." But like no one's looking at
Yeah,
that.
it's not the case.
Only I
Yeah.
am. And now I've become like my own kryptonite. I've become my own villain where it's like I constantly just look at that. And here I am, 30 years old, and I can still think about that moment where they were like, "Oh, you got a little bit of a belly there." And now I'm like 30 years old, still looking at my belly. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
that family member didn't mean to say it like in a negative way whatsoever. It was just a word, is something that had impacted me.
Yeah.
I took it to heart a little bit too much. So
Yeah. But that's crazy, right? Because again, there's something there was lacking in terms of where your self-love was.
Exactly.
Like what level you were on.
And it's bizarre.
In the self-love game.
It's so bizarre to me that like looking back, I don't know who was supposed to teach us, whether it's like parents and schools or whatever it may be, but like to the younger generation, to the youth, like if you're an adult, you should constantly try and teach these children about self-love, because you don't get that in the public school system,
Probably not enough of it. I'm sure there's a lot of teachers trying to trying to do that, trying to get that message across, but
like I can remember
you can't count on them.
There's one teacher who kind of scratched the surface of self-love, but we were in 6th grade. It was Mr. McGowan, but like I'm sure he kind of had that cutoff where it's like, okay, like I can't do much of like going into this. Now it's kind of like the parents' job to build that up, but
right?
Because you're only with that teacher for 1 year, so it's like they can't take you through the different stages of self-love. They can only help you through that 1 year. So, but Mr. McGowan really helped. I know for me and some of the other girls in 6th grade, like he helped us a lot, because that's a time where a lot of women, go through puberty and that transition. And I didn't go through that transition while he was my teacher, but he helped a lot of girls go through that. And he was still like a male figure, but he was still able to help them and tell them like, okay, if you have questions, go to your parents. If your mother can't help you, like go to the school nurse. Like he always gave options and opportunity, and reminded girls know like this is normal. And because when you're going through that as a female, it's kind of it's very nerve-wracking at that age, especially.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I'm just thankful that my daughter's going to skip that. So,
oh yeah, she's the exception. Don't worry, Courtney's got it.
Yeah, goodness, and yeah, Yeah, now we're talking about stuff that's just like taking me into a whole new world of scary.
Yeah, sorry guys.
But
hey, but that's where a lot of the haters come in at.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. And I think we have to understand, and junior high me, adult me, it's the same.
Yeah.
I just remember, it was just scarier, I guess. And I've come a long way. I've learned a lot. I've learned a couple things since then. But why we give our power away to really anything in life, identifying the why behind that, I think is what helps us to develop the self-love that we need to better deflect that the next time, or even ignore it entirely the next time. And I think that for me, giving my power away to the wrong things has been, that record has played over and over and over and over again for years and years and years. And I still very much struggle with that. But, I'm thinking about if I'm talking right now to like Audrey, my niece, right? And I'm talking about self-love. I think talking about why we give our power away to the wrong things is key, right? Mm-hmm. Like you want self-love, then start by understanding that you are in control of your power. You're in control of that. Like everything that you care about, you can control that. You can control that, right? So meaning someone says something to me, I'm going to make the decision at some point how much I'm going to care about that and how much power I'm going to give to that individual. Mm-hmm. And why would you want to give any of your power away to somebody or something that doesn't care about you, or worse, hates you, right? Yeah. Like, and I think realizing that, I realized that at a pretty late in my life, right? Still young though, I guess. It depends on who you're comparing it to, but I was probably mid-20s, I think, when I figured that out, and I was taught that. And learning, like being able to go, wait a second, like that's my power that I'm giving away. Like that was big for me. Yeah. Just going like, wait, it's that simple? Like, because I had never really thought about it that way. I'd never looked at it like that. But if I'm talking to, the youth right now, and I'm thinking, man, like you want to develop a strong self-love, a strong self-image, one that can withstand the hate that you're going to get, and we're all going to get it. It starts with that, I think, making sure I understand that I own my power. I'm only going to give the energy to the things I choose to give it to. Mm-hmm. That puts the onus on you, right? So now it's even as a teenager, right? If I can own that, then I can control that. Then I can make a difference, right? I can impact that. And it's easier said than done. And it depends on the setting. Yeah. Right? I mean, it's really tough to apply that kind of logic in the heat of the moment, especially if I'm in junior high and I'm in, I'm in the gym for PE and, someone says something really hateful. It happens to also be very embarrassing. You know what I mean? It's tough to stop and go, okay, like how much power am I going to give to this situation right now? Yeah. It's tough to do. But even if you can't do it in the moment, I still think it's really beneficial and helpful, especially at a young age, if you can figure it out even the next day, or the next week. Because, like, wait a second, why am I giving my power away to this or to that person?
Even if you give your power away in the moment, like let's say that something does happen, you're in PE, somebody says something to you, and you give your power away, it's still bruised throughout the day, right? Like it's boiling over. And that's when I think that's your best opportunity, because all of us get upset over things and things that happen in day-to-day lives. Example, I'm going to share Alessa's story that she shared with me on Sunday. She went to the grocery store and some lady thought Alyssa was like cutting in the line or something like that. And so obviously the lady was very upset over it. The chaos in the grocery stores, was very upset, and she cursed at Alyssa while having Audrey next to her. And Alyssa didn't give her power away. She just said, "Thank you. Have a great day." And I think that's a great example.
Nice.
However,
Nice.
yes. So applaud for Alyssa. Snap.
Yeah, way to go, little sis. I'm so proud of you. That's huge. That's crazy because that's awesome. I'm super proud of her.
But I understand that, like, being younger, you have to teach yourself that. And I'm sure Alyssa had to teach herself how to keep her composure, because Alyssa, you were a little bit of a hothead when you were younger. So
a little bit. Way to put it mildly.
So, but being younger, like, if you can't control it in that exact instance, or that exact moment, it's gonna brew, and then it creates, like, that's when you get angry. You never, like, having an argument in a shower by yourself and saying, like, "Oh, I should have said this, or I should have said that. Oh, if I said this, I would have beaten in the argument and I would have won." But that's where a lot of the energy goes to. And now you are like 100% giving up your power because you're by yourself now. Like, why are you still wasting your energy on a hater? Like, stop and think about that. Like, that's what I always have to do, because I know that I get upset sometimes, and I have to remind myself, like, if it's somebody who irritated me so badly to the fact that later on in the night that I'm still wasting my energy or my thought process and stuff on them, I have to stop and tell myself, like, they're truly not worth it. It's not worth the negativity for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they're sucking all of my energy, not just my bad energy. They're sucking out all my good energy, my bad energy, just like everything.
Yeah, your power, your energy, period. Yeah. Right? Yeah, they're taking it from you. Well, they're not taking it from you, and that's the part that I think.
I'm giving it to them willingly.
Yeah, that's the part that I think is so important that we get. Like, we've got to really understand, I think, that piece, that we are giving that away. It's, there's no other way to put that. Like, you're giving it to somebody. Mm-hmm. You're giving it to the things you want to get, not you want to, but that you choose to give it to. Yeah. Right. And yeah, that's, it's, I mean, my heart breaks for people that struggle with that, like, as much as I did when I was in junior high at this age. Yeah. Right? Like, seriously, like, there are people that every day, I mean, I still struggle with it. So, but I mean, to be struggling with it at that extreme, that would just, man, that would be so hard. Like,
it takes a lot for me now as an adult to, for something to really, kind of set me off like that, to really get me upset or anything. But
it happens.
I'll tell you what, when it does happen, like, you know how Dad, I'm going to put you on blast. I'm sorry. You remember how Dad was like, Dad would get into an argument and he walks away and then he comes back and you're like, just let it go, Dad. Just let it go. Like, let the argument go. And he's like, that's it. I'm done. I'm done with this conversation. He walks away and goes into the office, and then he comes back. That's what I kind of do. And it's been something that, like, I've had to work on for so many years, and I think I've got it under control. But every now and then, it just, something fires up in me, and my blood pressure, my ears will turn red, and my chest turns red.
And you're giving your power away.
Exactly.
And in that case, it sounds like you're doing it because you're choosing to give your power away because you want the win.
Yes.
That win for you is more important than the big picture win.
And that's what I was going to say. I was like, it's like my pride gets in the way, like my ego. I can't let it go.
Yeah. And I didn't really have arguments with Dad. That's interesting that you had arguments, because Dad was usually, if I didn't do what he did, then it wasn't good for me. So or if I didn't do what he told me to do, I should say, if I didn't do what Dad told me to do, it didn't work out for me. So there really wasn't much arguing, like, that I can remember between me and Dad. So I don't remember that part. Like, him coming back after a conversation, it was usually like, yes, sir. Okay.
I'll never forget when you and Alyssa were in school, and I was still like, I wasn't in school yet, so I was at home with mom, and she was talking to grandma on the phone, or maybe it was Aunt Taryn, I can't remember, but she was talking to someone on the phone, and she said, yeah, she goes, Alyssa stood up to Dan the other day. She was like, Danny asked Alyssa to do something, and she said, well, why don't you get up and do it? And I remember her saying that because she goes, Nick never spoke to Danny like that. She goes, but Alyssa did. And I think, like, I remember just sitting there, like, I observed everything that mom did, you know, every parent. I observed what all you guys did. But observing that, I was like, yeah, I'm going to stand up for myself if something like that happens.
Wow. Yeah. No.
So, yeah. I mean, I got to see it because Alyssa stood up to Dad quite a bit.
That's crazy.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
We need to get Alyssa on here so that she...
It's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I have, like I was saying, I hate when I do that. It's not something I'm proud of, but, you know, I am human, so it's going to happen, but I'm not going to be upset if I went to a restaurant and they didn't cook my steak right or something, you know, like it's not
right.
like that. It's something if it's like, if I feel personally attacked or maybe it probably won't even, a lot of times it's not even about me. It's about like somebody I care about and how someone else is treating them. That's something that will get me, definitely.
Yes. Yep.
So, and I need to learn how to not, you know, give away my power in those situations.
Yeah. And it's stuff like what we're doing right now, right? I mean, reading books, listening to things like this, podcasts, whatever, right? Where you're reminded, right, of that, reminded of those things, because it's all that stuff you just tends to slip away. We forget. And that's why I think you always hear about, you know, well, CEOs read, you know, this many books, and, you know, all the people that are like constantly have to be on and like firing on all cylinders, and the people that you look at, you're like, wow, they're super successful. A lot of those people, they're reading constantly, and the reason for that is because they're constantly trying to be better. And same thing here, right?
Yeah.
We're all in that boat. We're all just trying to be the best version of ourselves every day. And it's hard to be that when you don't, you know, when you're concerned about what everybody else is thinking or saying, and you're, you know, people, you know, spewing venom into your life, hatred, you know, you're letting that stuff get to you because you don't have enough self-love to fight it off.
Yeah.
Right. I think that you got positive vibes written down here in the form, and it's hard to come up with positive vibes when you're listening to all the wrong things.
Yes.
Right. When you're putting too much stock in the wrong things. And sometimes in life, it's going to feel like the weight of the world is on you, and it only takes one thing from somebody. It only takes one hateful thing that someone said or did, and it can really eat away at you, right?
Yeah.
I've got one of my coworkers that I work with. He's going through something like that, and you know, did so much stuff for this guy, and really kind of mentored him, invested in him, and then, you know, the guy kind of, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, just kind of like stabbed him in the back. You know, it's kind of being vengeful and spiteful over, you know, work-related things. And that guy's like hurting, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's hurting, because I mean, it's just straight up hatred, and he's feeling like violated and like just betrayed on like new levels. I mean, these are grown men, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was having a talk with him and just trying to remind him just to, you know, look, you can't put too much stock in all of that and what they're doing. Like, you have to understand the intentions here, right? Like, he's looking at the content and he's allowing the content to hurt, to sting. He's giving his power to that. And I go, just look at look at this individual's intentions, right? They're purely driven from pure hatred. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And why are you now then giving hatred any more power? It doesn't need it from you. Like, just let it die, right?
I feel like you're just watering it. You want it to grow, when you do that.
Yeah, and it's tough, right? Again, it's so easy for me to sit there and have that conversation with him, but I've been there. I went through something very similar years ago. I had a guy that I worked with that I really loved and cared about. I mean, just a really good dude, and I thought he was anyway, and kind of had the same thing happen to me. Just, it was the craziest thing. I mean, just totally, just the guy flipped on me.
I think I know who you're talking about too.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, that really hurt me because I was totally blindsided by it. I had no idea like what was even going on. I had no clue. And it was just, wow, that hurt me.
Yeah.
Right? Here I am, an adult, and I'm just like, wow, like I say that because we're all going to have to deal with that. It's never just going to go away. It's going to show up in life. And I think instead of trying to live life trying to avoid those situations, we need to, I think, live life trying to be better prepared for those situations. And again, it goes back to self-love. How much, are you prioritizing yourself and your own self-image so that when that stuff does come along, it's not going to keep you down for long. It is going to hurt. It is going to sting. It's going to knock the wind out of your sails, right? And that's why even if I'm, again, talking to the younger ones, and if you've got people doing things, saying things that are hurtful, you decide how much power you're going to give it and for how long, right?
Yes.
You decide that. It's nobody else. It's you. You decide that. And I think knowing that, hearing that is one thing is important, right? But if you hear it and it stings a little bit, like what I'm saying, like, what do you mean? Like I own that. You do. Mm-hmm. You do. You have to understand that piece first, because once you grasp that, now it's like, okay, now you can make a difference. Now it's like, I'm not going to let it keep me down. I'm not going to give it the attention that they want, right? And I knew I had friends in junior high and high school that were better at that, mm-hmm. And I think some of them had just gone through more difficult things in life so bad that they had a different perspective on what was happening in school and the BS that, kids cared about. But still, I mean.
See, and I think that was like something, because when I look back at school, like in junior high and high school, I mean, there was people who made fun of me. They even put like an embarrassing photo of me in our freshman yearbook. And it's literally like, I wish I had this yearbook. It's somewhere at Dad's house. I wish I had it so I could show you guys. It was the worst photo, and the girl intentionally put it in there to embarrass me. And I mean, I was a metal face, guys. I had braces, and my favorite color. Oh my god, I don't know why. This is me not caring about everybody else, right? My favorite color was green, and that's when you can like start like colorizing the rubber bands that went around your brackets. Right. So I had green in my mouth. So I always looked like I had just eaten a salad. And I had like my favorite tank top. It was a green shirt. And I think I was, what I was doing, I was laughing, but it looked like I was like doing like the Hail Hitler sign, like the Nazi sign with your arm up.
Oh gosh.
So she put that photo like smack dab on like the freshman yearbook. And I think I signed that photo on everybody's yearbook. I was like, don't forget me.
Wow.
Like I didn't really mind, but I liked how you brought up saying like, when you were in junior high, that other kids had gone through more serious things in life. So it didn't matter as much, right? So me, after 6th grade after what happened to our family with mom, I think that's why a lot of it didn't quite faze me as much, because in the end result, like at the end of the day, was just kind of just like
nothing in comparison.
Yeah, I was like, the worst already happened, so what else can happen?
Right. Yeah. Wow. I didn't even think about that, because I forget about how much different it must have been for you being so much younger than me when mom passed. Like I forget about that, but gosh, like I couldn't even imagine. Like,
don't get me wrong, there were certain things, like when I started my period and dad couldn't handle it, and you ended up coming to save me. You had to come pick me from school because I was like, what's happening to me? Like, I'm dying, take me to the hospital.
Yep.
but that happened. But like, you know, there were still things where I was like, oh God, this person embarrassed me. But yeah, like when it came to bigger, I think there were other things like smaller issues that a lot of people face where that was everything to them, you know? But to me, it was just kind of like, okay, it's fine. Like nothing else can hurt me.
Perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that perspective was gained through some pretty unfortunate things that happened. But still, it's perspective, right? And it's crazy how that can change just your life, just changing up your perspective a little bit on how you're looking at the situation. And that's what we're trying to offer up here when we talk about hand sanitizer and haters, right? It's the same thing. We're just trying to offer up, you know, the right perspective and really, like, especially for the youth, especially for the youth that's coming up right now, especially for you, Audrey, IE, and your friends, right? Especially for Zegan, you know, because he's going to be coming up through that. And it's important that you guys, you and your friends, seek out stuff like this, right? I assume you're listening to this because you have to, because you're my niece, right?
You're forced to.
There's a lot of people, you know, a lot of kids your age that probably aren't seeking out this type of content that's specifically aimed at trying to bring value and add value to you. A lot of times, you know, we're searching out different things that are cool, funny, you know, hip, which we are not, none of those. But
I don't know what you're talking about, Nicholas. I am extremely hip.
Yeah. Denial's a thing. We'll do an episode on that.
Next episode, denial.
But you know, it's just important that I think you seek that stuff out, because I really do think that that's what is going to help you just respond better to the things life's going to bring that, you know, you can't control, the things that are beyond your control. You can't control how somebody else feels about you, right? There's going to be people that are going to hate. There's going to be people that are going to say and do hurtful things. And what's most important isn't how good you are at avoiding those situations. What's most important is how good you are at responding.
Yes.
And that's why I think when Audrey IE told you, hey, I want you to talk about self-love, I think just her saying that is a really good sign.
Yeah.
Right? That's a really good indication for me that there's a lot of hope for the youth. And I'm super proud of her for telling you that.
Yeah. I was extremely proud of her. What was that movie you were talking about with the emotions? Inside Out.
Inside Out.
Okay, so Nick, when you said that earlier, that was a big one, because that movie, okay, even though it was a cartoon, it was an animation, right? That movie still taught like quite a bit, because especially as a younger, a younger human, as you're growing up, you feel these emotions, but you aren't able to like dial in what exactly you're feeling. So I feel like, especially, I can't speak for boys, but for girls, when you're going through such big transitions in your life, like, it's hard for girls to pinpoint. They can't tell you, like, I don't know why I'm sad. I'm just sad and I just want to cry. You know?
Yes. Yes.
Get ready. It's coming for little Emma. But then they're like mad, and they're like, I don't know why I'm mad, but I just want to be mad. So they have to pick something or someone to be mad about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to express it. So, you know, like, you're going to like therapy, like therapist office, and they're like, okay, and they show you the card, like happy, sad, angry. It's almost like just taking it back down to basics and figuring out, like, okay, I am feeling sad, but now let me, like, just trying to focus on it, meditate on it, and figure out, like, okay, why am I sad? And
like dissect it a little bit. Like, don't be afraid to face that emotion and go, okay, so, you know,
exactly,
like, it's okay to look at it and look at it not from the victim's perspective, mm-hmm. right? But look at it like, I'm in control, right? I'm in control to an extent. I'm in control, and some of that stuff's going to be rational, right? Those feelings and those emotions, some of that stuff's going to be rational. You know what I mean? There's going to be things that you should be crying about. There's going to be stuff that, yes, it's going to hurt, but there's going to be things in life that you shouldn't be. And mm-hmm. one of those things is like we're talking about, just, people saying hurtful things to you, doing hurtful things, doing something embarrassing, putting an embarrassing picture of you in a yearbook, sending you, embarrassing pictures, or, whatever kids do on social media these days. Whatever that is, it's important that you know how to respond.
And I think I think once you can tackle that.
Sorry about the dogs walking around in the background.
Hi guys. I think once you can understand that too, especially if you could do that at a younger age and figure out your emotions, right? Then that's going to help you into what we were talking about on a previous episode of saying like emotion creates motion.
Yes.
Yes. So it's going to be able to help you when you're in, further situations and, okay, why am I upset, or why am I sad? Even when you're happy, like, okay, why am I so happy right now? It truly does help you when you can control your emotions and figure out and just kind of pinpoint I have a story. I like this story because you were the one who found me. I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember walking in? I snuck out of my room when I was watching Winnie the Pooh at night, and you came home later.
Sounds familiar.
Okay. I don't know.
I came home from work or from a party.
Oh, I have no idea. I know I wasn't supposed to be up, but we had just...
Was I working at the BK Lounge?
It's probably like maybe 10 o'clock, so maybe?
Yeah, it's not important. I was just curious. I'm trying to get the image in my head of me walking in. Did I have a Burger King uniform on and smell like the broiler? Or was I coming home from a party and did I smell like, I don't know, liquor?
I mean, I didn't know what the smell of liquor smelled like, so...
How old were you?
I was young, because Mom was still alive.
Okay, so I was not coming home smelling like liquor then.
What year did Winnie the Pooh come out?
The original? Goodness, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I remember Mom had gotten the movie Winnie the Pooh, and but because it was like she got home and it was like too late, it was past my bedtime, I couldn't watch it. So I snuck out of my room and went into the living room to go watch it. And everybody else was asleep. But it was like, I want to say it was like probably about 10 o'clock or so. And I was watching the movie, and I think that was the first time I ever having like an emotion to cry, like a true emotion, not like a toddler's emotion of like, I'm just going to cry because I want to cry. But Winnie the Pooh gets stuck and he can't get out of like the cave. And so he keeps he keeps yelling for Christopher Robin. And I cried so bad in that scene. And then you came in the door, and then I was embarrassed because I was like, oh my God, I'm crying. I got caught crying, And then in my head, I was like,
that's funny.
I'm crying over nothing. Like, it's so stupid. I don't even know why I'm crying, Like, because I looked up to you a lot, and I still do. But, like, I never wanted to cry in front of you or the guys or, like, the neighborhood kids.
Appreciate that plug.
So when you came in, I was, like, wiping my tears and, like, okay, it's dark. He can't see my face, And you were like, why are you crying? And I just, like, let it out. And I was like, Winnie the Pooh is stuck, and he's alone. And I don't know why I'm crying so much over a stupid movie.
And what did I say? Get over it?
No, you
you
were actually really supportive. Like, you looked and then you sat down and you were like, Winnie the Pooh's going to get out. And then you like sat down and watched it with me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Kudos to me. See,
Bro,
I don't remember any of the good stuff I did. I was always focused on the bad.
So yeah, you were probably coming home drunk from a party then. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But it was...
No, that's a cool story.
It was nice because the moment you walked in the door, I immediately started questioning, like, why am I crying? It's a dumb movie. But it's like, you kind of helped me when you like put me at ease saying like, it's okay, you can cry, but you were like, but there's going to be good that comes after it.
Yeah.
After like
that's right.
Me freaking out, then I was able to be like, well, I know why I'm crying because Winnie the Pooh's alone and I love Winnie the Pooh and I don't want him to be alone.
Yeah.
When I say I loved Winnie the Pooh, guys, I want to say like I collected everything Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. Well, mom was obsessed with Winnie the Pooh, so you didn't have a choice.
Oh God. I think I bought every time we went to Disneyland, we bought a new stuffed animal. We had Kanga, we had Roo, we had Eeyore. I loved Winnie the Pooh. I read all his little books. Mom read them to me, and I think our bedding, mine and Melissa's bedding, was Winnie the Pooh.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was.
Pooh was my favorite. But,
I'm sure it was at one.
But
at
if
one
you
point.
think about it, thinking of Inside Out, Winnie the Pooh was the same thing. All of the characters were in a different emotion that people hold.
Yep. Yep. Very much the same thing.
Wow, I just realized that. Speaking out loud.
Crazy.
So that was my fun story of me first time realizing and being able to pinpoint why I had an emotion.
I can't help but think that there's got to be a story like that Alyssa has about me, right? Being kind, Alyssa, maybe.
Ooh.
I don't know. Am I reaching?
Alyssa's got to dig down deep. That was probably before I was born.
It doesn't exist. I just feel terrible because I'm thinking like, man, that's awesome. Like I get points for that. Like that's like that makes me feel really good that I wasn't a total jerk to you. But then I'm like, why was I so mean to Alyssa? Again, sorry, Alyssa.
But I think Alyssa and I were.
Apologies.
Oh, sorry, I interrupted your apology to Alyssa. Oh, that was a big moment for you, Alyssa. I'm sorry.
That was the end of it. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Alyssa and I, we fought a lot, but at the same time, like, I get it because I was always tagging along with Alyssa and I just didn't want to be alone. So I was kind of like her puppy that she was forced to take to the mall with her, you know?
Yep.
Because Dad and Elaine were like, just go with your sister. And I was like, yay, I can get to hang out with like older people.
Yep. I can not kind of, I don't know, really relate to that. I don't know, kind of, maybe not.
I didn't have any older. We got to get Alyssa on here. Alyssa, when are you available?
Yeah. She's going to have to jump on. Yep. She's going to have to jump on and she'll only have to buy one mic.
So can her and I share a mic? Is that a thing?
Yeah, you guys can totally share. Oh yeah, because you guys live in the same city. Yeah, you can totally share a mic. That would be legit.
Alyssa, let us know when you're ready. Oh, we could.
I can't wait till we do our first
about sibling love.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, maybe.
Get ready for that, guys. If you didn't know our family,
talking about,
you're gonna know them now.
Talking about we're trying to talk about how to overcome the haters. That's a.
Alyssa's like, I'm ready for it. Put me on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I wanted to, because I know we're getting close to the hour here, and Courtney just got back.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do like our shout outs or whatever. Did you have any shout outs that you wanted to give?
I mean, of course, another shout out to Audrey for,
Yep.
Inspiring this idea. Some snaps for Audrey, little Audrey. Because
Audrey IE.
Yep. That was a big thing for her to tell us, straight from her mouth, like, hey, you should talk about this.
That's right.
Shout out to her. Shout out to Andy, because I did get your text messages or those screenshots from Nick. So that will be coming soon. And I'm really excited for that one because tell you what, ain't nobody suppress emotions like I can.
And that's what we're going to talk about, right, on that one.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to do that. We don't know what episode yet, but it is going to get talked about. So thanks, Andy, for the idea.
Yeah. Another shout out to Alessa, Alessa and Ryan, just for being, such great parents and raising Audrey and Zegan, and having, Alessa just be such a great mother that Audrey's able to feel confident enough to reach out to her mom and express how she feels.
Y'all are kicking ass.
Yeah.
Y'all are kicking ass at the parenting game. Super proud of you both.
I can't even keep a plant alive, so you guys are doing amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
you'll get there.
My plant died. I'm so sad.
Yeah, so you really can't keep a plant alive. All right.
No, it died. It's dead.
Well, look, I got. I have to say, just a huge thanks to Emily, one of my nabes, because she sent me some really kind words in a text, and just it's really cool, really touching, and I just really appreciate it. So. Her and I are so much alike, and it's really unfortunate that we have something kind of really like crappy in common, but she lost her mother to cancer, and so just it's just weird, like when you meet somebody else that's gone through something like that, it's just I don't know, it's weird, like you connect on a different level already, but even if that wasn't there, we're very much alike, right? So and I say that because it's just nice to have somebody that that I can, getting that text from her was just like super cool. I was like, wow, that's awesome, because I know where that's coming from, and so just thank you, Emily. Shout out to you. Appreciate the love. Hope you keep listening. And then I also had I work with, her name's Christy. So shout out to Chris. I don't know if she's going to listen to this, but I recommended the podcast. I think I brought it up like, hey, you listen to podcasts? And I was like, you got to listen, go listen to our podcast. But she actually said she really liked it. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it. And she gave me another idea that we're gonna talk about on an upcoming episode. We're gonna talk about time management, right? We're gonna really try to talk about that for adults, college students, teens. So we're gonna bring that up eventually. So I appreciate that. Thanks for the idea.
By the way, I have a great book I will recommend for time management.
Yes, please. I love good book recommendations. Put it out there.
Book, which was given to me by Roxanne.
Shout out to Roxanne.
I don't know where she's at this week, but shout out to her because that saved my careers, multiple careers, and it helped me with my personal life. So it's a great book, and I'll get the name for it when we do that episode.
I thought you had the name right now.
It's like, I'm literally looking at it, but I can't move away from the mic. It's Natural Laws of Successful Something in Life Management.
By who?
Something Smith. Hiram W. Smith. All
right. Life-changing book. Life-changing for time management. So anyways, again, shout out to you, Chris. Thanks for the idea. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Where are we at time-wise? Was there anything else? I know we had a lot of stuff we were trying to cover, but I got to cut this short.
No,
so not short, but I got to cut it because got things to do.
You got to cut it out.
I got a lot of things to do. And I was kind of, I'll be honest, like I don't know if it comes across like, I don't know if you pick up on it. You could tell me, you could be honest with me, but like, I'm like super stressed out and overwhelmed from work right now. Did you pick up on that?
I think I picked up on it because usually like be
honest.
Usually you're the first one to text me like, okay, what time are we doing this? And podcast, when we go into Podcastland. And like yesterday I reached out to you saying like, hey, can we push this to Tuesday? Because I already had some stuff planned. And today, like I reached out to you, you never texted me back. So I was like, oh, he's probably like stuck on a bunch of conference calls or there's stuff going on with work.
So busy. It's so busy. It's nonstop. And it's not even like one call, I'm getting double booked, right? So I'm having to ask people to, hey, can I be 20 minutes late to your call? Or, and then asking somebody else, hey, can I go first on your call? Because
I have to jump off and go into another one.
Yeah. And it's crazy because everybody's like that. Everybody at my company, it's not me. It's not like, oh, okay, Nick's got all this extra stuff. Like everybody's got a lot right now. And so I have to be real careful, not to complain. And, especially to anybody that I work with, because there's a good chance they're all in the same boat or even worse, So, but I was just curious because I always feel better after recording the podcast. I always feel better talking about it, and you and I usually will talk for like an hour before we start recording the podcast. So it's always like a 2.5 hour ordeal. So I should probably start hitting record, and maybe we can do like a, if
you guys want to see a pre-podcast land
like if it like an extra, like, hey, here's what we talk about, before the podcast, like here's, kind of how we put things together, like a real kind of in-depth behind the scene.
It's mostly of us.
We're not even 7 episodes in. I'm talking about, but I was thinking about if we did something like that, I think it would be cool. And then we can start the Patreon page, and have people. And I've totally got this idea from the No Name RC because that's what they do. And I thought that was genius. I was like, man, that's great. They do like an early release of their podcast, right? So No Name RC podcast, one of my favorite podcasts, shameless plug. They do that.
Keenan.
And go Keenan. And they do give them like an early release. So they'll do their patrons, and then the patrons that sign up they'll give them an early release episode, and then they give them like other cool, like they do drawings, stuff like that. But that would be cool. Maybe
that'd be awesome.
Something we can offer up.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I think the most fun is before going into Podcastland.
Podcastland is pretty fun though. But yeah, we do.
Yeah, it's a lot of laughing to the point where you can't breathe sometimes.
Crying, laughing till you cry.
Yeah. It's a lot of Nick testing out his mic too. That's a great one.
Yeah, I always have to test my gain because because I'm recording guitar throughout the week, and then I got to redo the mic setup. She's like, "Why do you always got to reset your mic?" I'm like, "I'm doing my music, right?" And so I only have one mic and one stand, so I've got to readjust everything and then adjust my gain and test my voice and all that. So she gets to go through that every week.
He sings into the mic every time. Am I peaking? Am I peaking?
Yeah.
No, Nick, you're not peaking, and you never laugh that loud in podcast land. So you are good.
I know. I always laugh like super loud, like ha ha ha, and then I'm looking at there's a little light that goes around my little gain knob, and if it turns red, I know I'm peaking. So, anyways,
he never gets out loud, folks.
I know. But anyways, I still had a good time talking about this again. Just thanks to our listeners, thanks to our friends, family. It's awesome. Thanks to you.
I also want to say, Chris, I got your card. Huh?
Oh, what?
Now we just need to go to the grocery store, which I'm going to go to the gym. So then I'll stop at the grocery store afterwards, get some stamps, and mail it to you.
And then you got to take like pictures or something of you mailing it. And then we're going to take pictures of Chris getting it. And then probably I'll just have Chris come jump on or something.
That would be awesome. I know. We need to get Chris on here. Chris has been number one from the get-go.
Yeah,
he's our first listener.
He's our number one fan. Because every time I see Chris, he's always got something encouraging to say to me about the podcast. Even if I know the podcast was terrible, he's like, "Good job on the podcast, man. You did good."
That's awesome.
He's always good. And I'm not saying that I think our podcasts are terrible, Audrey. I'm just saying he's just a good friend. He's a good, he cheers me on, and I need that. You know how I need that in life. I need that. So, and that's probably why Emily likes the guy so much, amongst other things, I'm sure, but he's good. He's a supportive dude. So appreciate it.
Everybody's supporting everyone.
That's right.
Well, I wish everybody nothing but positive vibes this week. Okay. I want everyone
positivity.
Yeah. Spread it around. Do something nice. Do something to make somebody smile, whether it's your children, a spouse, a partner, a stranger, a friend. Just do something to make them smile, and wash your hands, folks.
Yeah, please make sure you wash your hands.
Please, for the love of God, guys. Don't be one of these people that are in a panic. It's okay. It's just like a regular flu virus. You're not going to die from it, okay? Just take care of yourself, regular hygiene, and please stop stealing all the water and the toilet paper, because I don't have any toilet paper at my local grocery store because of this, okay? So if any of you guys got toilet paper, send it my way.
Yep. I've got a closet full of toilet paper.
Our Costco is sold out. We have 2 Costcos here. Waters and toilet paper and paper towels are gone. It's insane.
Yeah. Our Costco ran out of water. So.
I mean, I have toilet paper, but I'm going to need to buy it next week, and it's not available. So. That's pretty cruddy.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right. Well, I think it's time to take us out of this thing. So appreciate everybody tuning in, listening, share with all your friends. The Stretch It Out podcast. Thanks for stretching it out with us.
You want to spread positivity? Share the podcast, guys.
Yeah, please share it. And Audrey's going to do a better job of getting us more social media presence.
I figured out how to delete a photo. That's it.
All right, y'all.
Love you guys.
Love you. Peace.